So, how did we get here? How did we get here?
It's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, and by here, what I mean is
at this point.
Yeah, not just in SuperGen. Not how did SuperGen become a thing. This is not a retrospective on this channel,
which we are going to do at some point.
Oh, for sure. if that will happen, probably sometime in the future.
How did this hodgepodge of people?
Yeah, exactly. How did we meet? How did we get here? Yeah. It's great. That's going to be a great story. Like, how did Ryan and I meet, and like who the people we know. He wants to do that really bad. I know, but that's for another time.
The interconnectivity of SuperGen.
Yeah, and just like how people meet each other, and like how like my dad and Alex's dad like know each other before Alex and I even like met. Like it's a whole story.
Because I had ties to Alex before I even knew it.
Yeah, exactly. That's so weird. Like I don't know. But so this video is going to be about how did we get here, almost like in our lives, and like why gaming? What was it about gaming? Like I know so many people that I went to like grade school with and high school with who were like, oh yeah, dude, like sports is like my thing. Like I go home on Friday night watching the Cavs crack a beer open, watching sports with my dad, like talking about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know so many people like that, and I'm like, okay, cool. And that the more people I know, like the more I go out into the world, the more I see of that. Where it's like, yeah, people are like into games, but it's like what I was saying in the last Nintendo Nation is that. It's like people come in and they're like, oh yeah, I want Call of Duty, I want Madden, I want NBA, and then they're just like content with going on in their lives. Yeah. They go to work in the morning, they do all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, like that's cool and that's good because like clearly you enjoy that. Like that's like your thing. I have no idea what was on my shoe. Something was stuck in my shoe. But it's like clearly you enjoy that. Like that's your thing. You know, that's what you choose to do. And then they come in and they start talking about sports, and I'm like, dude, I'm the last person you want to talk to about sports.
Yep.
Unless it's soccer.
Yes.
In which I can like somewhat hold a conversation with you about it.
And I'm the same way, just with college football.
Yeah. Oh, see, I barely do any football.
College football is the only thing I actually follow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, my thing with college football is I just couldn't. Too many teams, too much to follow, too many names.
I'm still waiting for that NCAA 2019 or whatever.
When that happens.
When they're going to bring it back that year.
That'd be cool. I know a lot of people are asking for it. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like stuff like that. You know, like I can tell you about the Indian, then baseball. Baseball's another one I'm into. But it's like. No, I'm not into like sports. Like there are people who can name off like every player of every team and all these stats and like all this.
Can't do it.
No, not even close, right?
Yep.
But it's like, ask me who developed this game. Ask me who the producer was.
Good chance we're gonna know.
Ask me all this stuff. Like, yes, I can do it. These random ass Japanese people and all their crazy
Good chance
names.
We're gonna know.
Boom, I can pronounce that perfectly. Like here it is. This is like I know these people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like that's my world. Why is that my world? Now, I've obviously thought of this plenty of time, just in my own free time in my life.
Yeah.
However,
and I thought of this when you posed the question to me, so mine's just kind of coming to me as I go, basically,
which is wonderful, and so I love the off the cuff, very candid, very fresh. Very candid, can't wait. Yeah. But so, as you all know, E3 just happened, is in the process of happening.
Yeah, wrapping up.
Probably will be over by the time you see this though, but. There's
still in the minds and the hearts of gamers everywhere.
Exactly, right? So there's tons of pictures out and about on the internet.
Nice.
Clearly, Nintendo won E3.
For sure.
Absolutely, unequivocally, wonderful world of Nintendo. They
now,
won
would
E3.
you say that they would have if they didn't have Metroid Prime 4?
100%, only for the fact that there's a new Pokemon RPG coming as well.
Sure.
And all the other games looked awesome. Literally, every single thing Nintendo showed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to get. One day I will buy that. Literally every single thing, with the exception of the only thing that I may not buy eventually is Rocket League.
Okay, yeah, I'm not buying that.
And I don't know because Rocket
I have
League,
it on the PS4.
I have it on PS4 when it was free, PS
too.
Plus game.
Yep, me too.
Still have never played it. Whenever it was free on PS Plus, download it.
I tried.
Never once played it.
And that's another BJ's topic for another day, is why am I so bad at multiplayer games?
Okay, oh my God, I could talk for like 4 hours on that. Like I
because
can't
I
wait
tried
for that
like
one.
Windjammers when we did the Perfect 10.
Yeah.
I fucking suck.
Yeah.
I tried playing Disc Jam when it came out, which was a PS4, a PlayStation Plus game like 2 months ago. Terrible at it. Rocket League, terrible at it. I can't win.
Yeah, I have no idea. And it's like Call of Duty, nope. Battlefield, nope. All these crazy multiplayer focused games where multiplayer is like the main draw to this game. It's like count me out unless you're Destiny. For whatever reason, Destiny got its claws in me and is like, here you are, like this is it.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be addicted to this, and I was for so long. And Ryan obviously was a huge part of that.
So look forward to that topic.
That'll happen.
We'll probably record that next week.
Yeah, that's happening soon. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, what sparked this was, and really what sparked this thought in my head originally was, what was really funny is a few weeks ago, not Neil Druckmann, but someone else on Twitter, and I cannot remember his name, and I don't know why, but he's very avid in politics.
To Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, shout out to Neil Druckmann. You're an awesome dude. Love like all the games and stuff that you write. You're incredible. But the other guy, I'm pretty sure works for Sony. Really good friends with Kind of Funny. Cannot remember to save my life though.
Shuhei?
Nope. No, American.
Sid Schumann?
Nope. Not Neil Druckmann. I think you worked on Uncharted though.
Bruce?
Nope. I don't know. I'll leave it in the comment. I mean, I'm sure I'll do something. I'll throw it in the description.
The guy that left Sony to go form the thing that they're doing Extinction now? Adam Boyes?
Nope.
Damn.
No idea. Hold on. This is going to bother me. Hold on. You're just going to have to sit through this, like 5 minutes of me looking through this, and it won't take me 5 minutes because he tweets.
No, that's fine. We'll,
often. But anyway, so the point, yeah, the point is, what he tweeted was, he's like, all right, this is awesome. He's like, yeah, all you people who are tweeting about like the NBA finals and like all this stuff, and he's like, all your sports jokes that make no sense to me. He's like, it's almost E3. I can't wait till your Twitter feed is full of jokes you don't understand. You know what I mean? Like something like, oh yeah, all these people are talking about like the NBA and like all these things that no one gets.
Did you like the tweet? Because you could find it quicker that way.
I did. Oh my gosh, that's very smart.
I know you're active with the retweets and the likes.
Oh, I'm all about that. How do I don't know how to.
Speaking of which, you can follow us. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Bryan SGTV.
I'm at Fallucaduke, FALLUCCADUKE.
And tweet that at Game Over Greggy.
Tweet at Game Over Greggy. That is going at the beginning of every video that I'm in, as long as it doesn't bother who I'm in with. But yeah, tweet at Game Over Greggy for me. Shout him out to my Twitter, cause yeah. That'd be awesome, and I want a tweet from him really badly. I actually tweeted him today, and I was like, hey, man, would you be upset if I tweeted you once a week, probably on Wednesdays? Would that upset you?
It's like what he used to do with The Rock. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All right, there's a Neil Druckmann tweet, but it wasn't him.
We'll figure this out.
Was
figure this out.
I'm going to be so pissed if it turns out like that
didn't like it.
No, if it was Neil Druckmann. Because it kind of... Mike Drucker.
Okay, Mike Drucker.
Which is his name Neil Druckmann?
Yeah, Neil Druckmann.
Neil Druckmann and Mike Drucker? What the hell? You people in your names. Oh, my God. But no, 100% was Mike Drucker.
Mike Drucker.
Okay. Rubs his... This is it. It's asterisk. Rubs hands asterisk. Yes. Good. Speak of your basketball, for soon E3 comes, and it is my jokes that will make no sense to you.
Okay.
And I'm like, that was awesome. Thank you. That tweet was hilarious. And that just personifies everything where it's like... it personifies everything that I was just saying, where it's like, yeah, like all these people have these things where it's like, yeah, they're interested in all this other stuff, and then you bring it back to games. So I know that was like a super long intro that was like the intro to the intro of why this topic even exists.
Which we haven't even introduced what we're doing.
I know. So, if you haven't guessed by now, what we're going to be talking about is like how did we get here in gaming, and what, like, the point of bringing up the sports thing is, why didn't I go with sports? Like, what was that about sports that turned me off? Why did I choose gaming and comic books and nerdism over sports and being outside and, like, getting a job and just, like, fitting into society, where it's like, hey, these people come in, they do their 9 to 5. They come in, they buy Call of Duty every year, they buy Madden every year. They go home, they get a wife, they have 2.5 kids, and then there you go. You know what I mean? Like, the normal, like, 2.5 kids and a dog is, like, the typical American family. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know how you have a kid.
Always got to have the 0.5 of a kid.
It's really funny, though, because that is the stat, so I don't know. But it's like, so you have all that stuff, and it's like, how am I avoiding all of that when it seems that there are so many people in the world that are like that? Like, the world is 6.5 billion people on it, and the majority of them are like that. How was I lucky enough to be part of the ones who are not like that? How am I lucky enough to be different? You know what I mean? So so the original thought started with that one tweet that I finally found. It was awesome. Mike Drucker. And then I found this image too. So all these images are going around of Nintendo and how Nintendo won E3, and that's what I was talking to you about. Yeah. And this one goes, it's titled, Who Would Win? Picture on the left is Xbox One X, the first true 4K resolution powerhouse console with a year of hype behind it. And then the competitor to that is some words and a number, and it's a picture of Metroid Prime 4. Sure. Just the logo, the title, Metroid Prime 4, which is a working title.
Spoiler, Metroid Prime 4 wins.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. And that's my whole point. Is like everybody's talking about that and like how excited they are.
Yeah.
Then Alex posted this in the same group chat. And it's Xbox One X has an 8-core processor and 12 gigabytes of RAM. And it's like Pierce Schneider and his dudes is like what that meme is.
Which is the classic image from like 13, 14, probably longer.
Yeah, forever ago. And it's just him and his buddies like, whatever, like, And then it's a picture of you throw a hat on a frog and you're the frog. Yeah. And it's the Mario hat, and it's the frog with Mario hat and a mustache. Yeah. And everyone's like, yeah, that's awesome, like, way to go. And I'm like, that's hilarious, but that's so true. Like, people got so hyped because Dat Boy had a Mario hat on it. And it's like, but here's Xbox saying, hey, we have literally the most powerful home console that has ever been created. You're able to have this thing in your home and play amazing games on it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but the internet is more hyped for a frog in a Mario hat and words and a number on a screen.
And here's the thing. People like you and I are more hyped for, words and Metroid Prime 4 and that kind of stuff. Where I think it's a good analogy to pose like Xbox, Microsoft, they are that sports crowd that you mentioned that we didn't fall into. Totally now, granted, I would play on an Xbox One. I play games on PC. I play Microsoft games on a PC. I don't actually play them on an Xbox One because all our games are play anywhere. I play on a PC.
Right.
So, but a lot of their titles are your first-person shooters. Your hardcore military stuff, your sports games, that kind of stuff.
Multiplayer focus, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the crowd like that is big into sports.
Sure. Yeah. Totally
whereas typical gamers, people like you and I, probably aren't going to be so much excited for that stuff.
Sure. Totally agree. And that is kind of where this came from, where it's like, I want to know why, though. Like, I get it, and I get that crowd exists. Our crowd exists. I'm able to identify that. I'm able to see that as not necessarily the issue or the problem, but I'm able to identify that both crowds exist. I can acknowledge both of them.
And they exist peacefully.
Of course. Yes. Where the gamers are off, the sports gamers and the Call of Duty people every year are off being fine, being ignorant to the rest of what's going on.
To the good games?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and they 100% are. But I can't tell you how many like friends and people I've talked to. I'm like, hey, you need to play like Horizon Zero Dawn, and they're like, oh no, that looks stupid. That robot dinosaur game, that looks dumb. And I'm like,
one of the best games this
year.
But
then you're talking about how amazing like Ghost Recon Wildlands is.
Sure.
And I'm like, but you won't try out this like one of the highest rated games of the year, like. Come on, like, expand your horizons a little bit. Like, your Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, play some other stuff, like, get out there. But it's like, these people are so content playing their multiplayer and sports games. Yeah. And it's like, I honestly don't care. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, like, it bothered me at first when I was like, hey, you need to play this. And they're like, no, that looks dumb. I don't want to play it. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You need to play this. Like, I'm forcing this down your throat. You have to play this game. Like, I'm going to ask you about it, and I'm going to bug the shit out of you about it, and I'm going to make sure you play it. But now I'm like, I don't care. Because it's like, I'm going to play it, I'm going to enjoy it, and if you want to miss out on it, that's your bad, you go right ahead. Like, it's not my problem. Right. I'm going to enjoy this awesome single-player game, I'm going to love Zelda Breath of the Wild, I'm going to love Mario Odyssey. It's like, I'm perfectly fine enjoying them. And to you who still thinks that Nintendo is a baby system, and Nintendo is for kids, and Nintendo games suck, it's like, fine, you go off and you play Madden 18, and you play Call of Duty World War II, and you have fun thinking that, I'm going to be over here playing these awesome grand adventures. Yeah. You know what I mean? And both of us are totally okay with that, and both of us can exist like that, and that's great. And so I want to get just from you first, especially because this will be a two-parter.
Yeah, this is a two-parter, another two-parter.
Yep, just like our E3 special.
Yes.
What do you think led you into the path of being more like focused in the, I guess, genre or like the area of gaming that you're in?
The industry.
Yeah, like what brought you into this area of the industry versus becoming just another one of the herd, buying Call of Duty and Madden every year.
So we're going to travel. We're going to go on a little time traveling spree.
All right, dude, buckle up. I can't wait. Bring the popcorn.
As the SuperGen crew goes, I'm the oldest.
Correct.
So
in age, yes.
Yeah, I'm 31 years old. We're going to go back to 1989.
Okay.
And my uncle, who is about 15, 16 years older than me, he had an NES, and he had Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, obviously, because the cartridge, the combo. But more specifically, Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh, okay.
So I was 3 years old, and I was not allowed to play his NES. He was very adamant. I was just a dumb little 3-year-old kid. He didn't want me to break it, so
That's valid, though.
Yes,
I agree.
Which looking back now, I get, man. Like, I wouldn't let my 3-year-old nephew touch my shit either.
Right. Like I'm not gonna let my cousin. Right. My cousin is like going into 2nd grade, so he's like 7 or 8 years old. I'm like, you are not getting near my Switch. You know what I mean?
No fucking way.
Yeah.
So, but my grandma, obviously his mom, used to let me sneak into his room and play it when he wasn't home.
Okay.
So, and I mean, I was smart for a 3-year-old. I mean, I have distinct memories from when I was 3 too. So like, I remember all the way back then. And I knew what I was doing. I knew how to play the games. I was actually able to get through Mario Brothers 2, still only 3 years old. But that game is where it all started for me. And at that point, my mom and dad, they picked up my own NES, I think for Christmas that year. I got a bunch of games with it. Obviously, the combo of Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt with the light gun, Mario Brothers 2, and then some other random games that I can't remember the names of. I remember one was like a really weird, like you were in the cockpit of a starship or something. And I've always tried to go back and try to find that game because I would like to play it again at this point in time. And I can't find it. I have no idea what the name of the game was.
Weird. Okay.
But I do remember.
That blows.
I do remember playing it, so it exists.
It definitely exists somewhere, right? Watch it be like $10,000 though.
I know, like it's one of the rare ones, and I fucking used to have it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But anyway, so it all started with me with the NES. My grandma had an Atari, but I never got much into the Atari. I used to play it with her every now and then. I wouldn't have called that like my entry point though. The NES was definitely my entry point.
Sure.
And then from there, I got the SNES, I got the Sega Genesis. I've had everything except for some of the more obscure systems as they released. I didn't have like the 3DO. I didn't have the Sega CD, but I used to rent that when that was still a thing.
Right,
from places
rent
like
systems,
Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or something.
Oh, God. Memories.
Yeah, which is another topic for a video at some point, is the rental system and why it failed.
Right.
But Family Video is still sticking around.
They are, dude. And the only reason they're sticking around is because they refurbish your discs. They resurface discs.
Yeah.
And they charge like $2 a disc. I swear to God, that is the only reason
they make a lot of
they're
money
still.
off that.
Yeah, that's the only reason they're still in business.
But anyway, so I mean, I didn't have the Jaguar. I didn't have the Saturn. But those were obscure. I had the Genesis.
Right, you had like the main.
Yeah, from the Genesis,
that, like,
I got the Dreamcast. But I've had every major Nintendo system since the NES. I've had every Sony system since the PlayStation. I've had every system since the Xbox from Microsoft, even though I sold my Xbox One because I wasn't using it.
Right.
I've considered myself a hardcore gamer.
Sure.
I play every genre. I try to get through every game that I possibly can. And to me, gaming, thanks to my uncle, even though he didn't know it at the time, he does know that I used to play his thing when he wasn't around now. But thanks to him, I was introduced to this media that allowed me to escape. And I had like a hard time growing up. I mean, I didn't fit in with like a major crowd or anything like that, obviously. I know that's like one of the most cliche things to think, oh, I don't fit in anywhere.
Yeah,
like,
but
you know.
I mean, if that's the way it was, that's the way it was.
But I mean, like, I had my core group of friends. I mean, there was like, 10 of us or whatever that I think I only talked to like 2 or 3 of them still to this day.
Right.
You lose contact with everyone after you get out of high school and especially college and that kind of stuff. You go on and do your own life, whatever. But I still talk to a few. But there were a few of us that we kind of clung together. We were gamers at heart, and that's what we talked about. That's what we liked. That and pro wrestling. Okay. So, I'm a big wrestling fan still to this day, which I took a couple years off, but I'm back to it now. I've been back for years. So, I mean, I identify a lot with Michael Huber because of that.
Okay, right, sure.
But gaming allowed me to escape. And especially after I got my NES, my dad really got into playing games as well. So, like, he would always play, like, golf on the NES.
Okay.
And, like, where you're Mario, like the original old school golf.
When it was
literally
called
just
golf.
called golf.
I know, and then there was called baseball.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there was a basketball. There might have been, but there was definitely a soccer.
Yes. Yeah. And he had all this. Because, I mean, he was the sports guy.
Right.
I mean, he would
the
sit
typical,
down there.
like the guy.
Yeah.
You know
like
what
he
I mean?
would be, he would hardcore into the Cleveland Indians, the Cleveland Cavs, the Browns. I mean, he would watch them religiously. Every game, every sport. That was his thing. But after we got the NES, I mean, he really started getting into it, especially with the SNES. He would sit down and play Mario Kart with me, like Off-Road Baja, I think the game was called. We used to play that. He would play Punch-Out with me. Like, a lot of things that I enjoyed, he started to embrace, obviously, me as his son.
Right.
So we would play together, and I thought that was super cool. Like, one of the best memories I have of gaming with him was with Sonic Spinball on the Genesis. Like, we would play that all the time. And I grew up in a couple counties over in Northeast Ohio, and at the northern end of the county, we're deep in the snow belt. So we would get almost over 100 inches of snow per year. So, you know, a lot of school days over there.
Right.
More, not so much so where we're at here.
Right.
But over there, it's a bit different. And every snow day it must have been the year of 1993. It had to have been, and I'll get to why.
The Great Snow of 1993.
I'll get to why in a second, but it had to have been that year. But I just remember playing the shit out of Sonic Spinball like every snow day, and he worked at home. Like he was the groundskeeper for the area that we lived in. So I mean, you know, he got to work from home, which was really cool at the time because that wasn't a thing that was very popular back then. But yeah, it had to have been 1993, and I hold those memories dear to me because he was killed in a car accident in 1994, so less than a year later when I was 8. My mom broke her neck in that same car accident, and it was obviously extremely hard for me. And gaming, thanks to my uncle and how I got into it, allowed me to escape feelings that I wasn't sure how to express. I mean, you know, being an 8-year-old kid, I don't know how to cope with death. And I mean, I think now, going off topic a little bit and, you know, diving into my history, my mom passed away 2009 from a prescription overdose. Like, you know, the prescription, and it wasn't like that she took too much,
right?
But it's just like the prescriptions that she were taking were really strong,
right?
And eventually it stopped her heart, which was crazy because I mean, like, it's not supposed to do that,
right?
Because I mean, she wasn't abusing them. It's just like it was like a mix. You know, she
like
because of her neck when she broke in the car accident that my dad passed away in. You know, she was always on medication because she never got over the pain. Like it was there.
Right.
So the pain medication that she took, that she would go to the doctor every month for, took it by as the prescription. Eventually, it just killed her heart. And I mean, that sucks. Because I mean, like I said, you know, typically from an overdose, it's someone that's abusing it,
right?
But if you're just taking it like you're supposed to, then
right, like that shouldn't be.
That's a hard way to go, right? So after that, I mean, like gaming again allowed me to escape. But at that point, like I said, because I lost both my parents, I've lost my grandma. I'm the only person I have left in my immediate family is my uncle and my aunt. Okay. So
aunt being his wife,
aunt being my dad's sister. Okay. Uncle being my mom's brother. Neither one of them ever married.
Oh, okay.
So, cool. Yeah, so I don't actually have like another aunt or another uncle. Like legitimately, it's just my dad's sister and my mom's brother. And then, I mean, I have some cousins that I've never met.
Right.
But
they're just kind of out there.
Yeah, they're just out there somewhere. Floating around.
Hey, if you see this video,
floating around in the sea,
hey, leave a comment.
Yeah, reach out to me. Maybe I'd like to meet you someday. But no, so I've become really good at like accepting death now, and like it sucks to say, but it doesn't faze me anymore,
right?
Because I've been through so much that, like, I mean, if I obviously no, yeah, it sucks,
right?
But
clearly, yeah.
But I don't express it anymore because I learned to shut it down when I was little, and that is all thanks to gaming, and that, like I said, that allowed me to embrace the industry. I started learning a lot about gaming. You know, I subscribed to GamePro. I subscribed to Nintendo Power. Every magazine I could actually get my fucking hands on, I would subscribe to and read religiously. And I found out at an early age, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to do this for a living. I want this to be my career. And I thought at first I wanted to actually make games. And I held that belief up through high school. I always knew I was either going to be making video games or being a professional wrestler. And I was never, obviously, look at me, athletic enough to be a professional wrestler, even though it was a dream.
Hey, look at Andre the Giant. He wasn't
exactly
like the most physically fit man.
The Big Show or Mark Henry.
I don't know who either of those are. So
I don't think Andre the Giant. Big Show used to be called like Andre's son because he's like 7 foot.
I'm imagining him being a very large man, big man with the name Big Show.
Big man. But so it was never to be a professional wrestler. Right. Obviously, that was never in the cards.
Sure.
So through like I said, through high school, and then when I started college, I was dead set on like I want to make games, and started taking like, you know, the hardcore math classes, and found out like I fucking suck at this. Like, I'm not good at math. I mean, I am through like up to trigonometry, but anything after that, calculus, I can get, but it's hard. And anything beyond that just blows my mind. Like I could never be a physicist or anything like that. So I decided that I would put my mark on the industry through journalism, through media, through writing, that kind of stuff. And that's when this whole thing started for me. And I have a lot of people that I guess have been influenced by. So it started IGN. Before it was even IGN, it was N64.com back in the middle 90s. And that team of Matt Casamassina, Fran Mirabella III, Craig Harris, and Per Schneider were really like the main four that like, I want to do this because I want to work with them.
Right.
So, it was always like, I eventually want to move out to California, which, I eventually lived in California for a couple months, but I lived in Vegas for 10 years. But it was thanks to them that I really started paying attention, like, okay, how are these articles written? Like, what are they talking about? How do they review games? That kind of stuff. And I started, like, picking up on things like how games are played for review. And, I mean, it was cool. It was a cool journey to learn how to do all that. And like I said, that started before we're talking 96, 97, so I was like 11, 12 years old. And then, flash forward a few years, and then Colin Moriarty, Greg Miller, the PlayStation team, I started, really becoming a big fan of them as well. But I think my biggest influence would be the Game Trailers crew. Brandon Jones and his partner that they started up, I think it was like 2002 or 2003. But more specifically, the crew that now identifies themselves as Easy Allies. I have been following their careers for as long as they've been around. Right. And I was like, I want to do that. And I want to be, not necessarily, I don't want to be them, but I want to do something similar. And, I want to make content. I want to play games, and I want to be in this industry that I enjoy.
Sure.
Like I said, we talked about it before I started going off on this. I like college football. I mean, like, I love the Ohio State Buckeyes, North Carolina Tar Heels. That's because I was born in North Carolina, but, that's another one of my favorite teams. But like you were saying, I don't know the players.
Right.
I mean, I know some of them, but I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know the rosters.
Stuff, right.
Or, I don't know the depth charts.
Sure.
Or, I don't understand a lot of why things work. But I mean, I like college football. But I never wanted to. Like I said, we were talking about, that was never something that I wanted to do. And I attribute that to my uncle, even though he didn't know it. Like I said, at the time. Because things like Nintendo, I mean, those worlds were created to get lost in. I mean, you have like Ocarina of Time, A Link to the Past, Mario 64. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in those games just exploring. And like standing outside of Peach's castle, of the Mushroom Kingdom, in that stupid little area with like 6 or 7 trees,
right.
The moat. I probably played 10 hours or more just in that area, just messing around, like trying to figure out what was hidden in this game, because this was, back in 96, the internet wasn't as popular as it is now. So people didn't know, like, okay, there's nothing here, so don't waste your time.
Right.
Like, everyone's like, oh, eventually you could see Yoshi on the fucking
right on
roof.
The roof,
and, but it was always like, what else is in this game? So I was always trying to find more. And like I said, I like getting lost in worlds, which that's why my favorite genre is JRPGs, because I play games for story.
Sure.
I don't necessarily play games for like gameplay or anything. Like, yeah, I like playing a fun game, but I prefer a game that has a good story.
Okay.
And I'll actually play a game that actually controls terribly if it has a good story.
Okay.
So
very interesting.
Yeah,
we're different in that way.
Yeah,
but that's
so,
good.
I mean, like I said, I like games that are fun to play because they're games. But I much prefer a well-rounded story, something that pulls at the heartstrings,
right.
Gets you emotional, has a killer soundtrack to go with it, and then. But like I said, it doesn't have to play bad. I mean, it doesn't have to play good.
Play well. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I mean, like if the controls are janky or the frame rate has issues or something, even though I will complain,
right.
I'll struggle through it because I want to see where the story goes.
Sure.
And I mean, there have been a few times where I've gotten frustrated, like, no, I'm just going to watch the end on YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't there a point that hits where it's like, oh, I might as well just look it up on Wikipedia and just read it in 3 paragraphs?
And like I said, that is something, and especially games that have multiple endings, because I play through games, so quickly for trying to do reviews, and because, like I said, I try to play everything as it comes out, so I go through games as quick as I can, which I know is a bad thing because there are things that I don't appreciate about some games as much as someone else who actually takes their time and that's their game for like 4 months. No,
sure.
That's my game for like 5 days.
Right.
So like Zelda, I finished it in I think, a little over a week. I mean, I sunk the hours needed. Persona 5, I finished in exactly a week, 116 hours. And I mean, I know there's stuff I skipped in that game. It's like, one day I'll go back, but will I ever? Because we're looking at the second half of 2017, and it's crowded. And early 2018 is crowded. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to catch up. I mean, I'm behind.
Is it ever going to stop?
I'm behind as it is.
Right.
I like stories in games, and I have a lot of thanks for, to my uncle, to my mom, to my dad, to my grandma, who spoiled the shit out of me. I'm an only child. So, I mean, I was extremely spoiled growing up to where I would get 5, 6, 7 video games every Christmas. And I mean, they would always buy me, the latest and greatest. And it's just like, hey, just make a Christmas list. And I'd list 12, 13 fucking video games on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't get them all.
Right.
But I would get
a good majority, probably.
Almost, more than half. So, I mean, I was very lucky growing up. And now with the disposable income, I buy as much as I can. And, so long story short, I mean, like I said, this is my industry. This is who I call family. All of you guys, obviously, but the extended family of the gaming industry. And the only takeaway I have from gaming is, like I said, anyone out there that could be going through something, whether, it's depression or, you're struggling with, being bullied or having a hard time or something, get lost in something like I did. Gaming helped me escape. And that's it bothers me when people say that gaming isn't an art form. Sure. Because it is.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's one of the most beautiful art forms that there is. And I think a lot of that has to do with how it can help people escape. You're never going to escape reality. Reality is what it is. It's real. It's never going to go away. Right. But for a time it can. I can be Aloy walking around through Horizon Zero Dawn, or I can be Link trying to, how am I going to beat Calamity Ganon or whatever? And that's what I like about gaming. And I don't think that's ever going to change. Like I said, we're doing this, and we're in the industry now. Yeah, absolutely. So we're not going anywhere, and it's only going to get better. Games are only going to get better.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm super excited to see, the super duper graphics pack for Minecraft. I'm very excited to see what the future holds. Obviously, with the Xbox One X being the most powerful, and smallest Xbox, I don't care. Right. I have my PC that already outputs to 4K. Right. Big deal.
And plays all the same games.
Yeah, and plays all the same games. Why do you need an Xbox, Microsoft? Come on now. Right. What they should do, and what I was talking to my buddy Sean, who lives out in Vegas still, what Microsoft really should do is they should just get in the industry of making customized PCs. Right. And that's what they should, that should be the Xbox. And they should not be releasing home consoles, because a majority of gamers, the Xbox One is a good entry point. But if you have the Xbox One X is $500. If you have $200 or $300 more, you could build a PC that does way more than the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro combined. Right. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, but I'm interested in things like the PlayStation 5, because Sony games you can't get anywhere else. Right. And Nintendo games, same thing. What's coming after the Switch? And with especially virtual reality, I want to see Gen 2 with the Vive, Oculus, and PSVR, and especially Gen 3. I want to eventually see augmented reality become more mainstream. Yeah. I'm very excited for where technology is taking us, and I think we jumped in at a good time. Obviously, we were born at the right time, because we didn't miss out on any of this. Yeah. Kids nowadays, they missed out on the foundation. I think about that
all the time.
I do too.
And it's kids come in and they pick up Call of Duty, or they're picking up Black Ops. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I remember when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, when just Call of Duty 4
and they're like,
came
what's
out.
That?
And I'm like, that game was amazing. And they're like, oh yeah, I wasn't even alive when that game came out. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, you weren't. Yeah. You're a baby. And now you're playing this, and it's now you're getting into this industry too. But I'm like,
yeah, and good, and kudos to you for getting into this industry. Right. That's the great.
And I'm like,
I applaud you for doing that.
Yeah, but I'm like, but you missed out.
On
you missed out on the GameCube, and that's what I'm not talking about so much is all these memories and stuff that I have. But it's you missed like what makes gaming, at least to me, like what makes gaming important to me.
Yeah.
Like you miss it. Like I can't even fathom, like if I was born now, like my little cousins who I was saying will never touch my Switch is like they're growing up and they're in 2nd grade and I'm like all they can do is like focus on an iPad and like their dad has a PS4. My cousin-in-law, I guess, has a PS4 and it's like they sometimes play that and I'm like, oh my God, like you're starting out with the PS4, like you're already starting at like amazing, like realistic, like everything. And like when people actually understand what storytelling is, not, you know, we are stole all your base or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like,
like
you're
you
not
didn't miss out on the glitches.
Yeah,
and,
like you didn't.
Terrible
You
translations.
Right, like you missed out on Zelda 2. I am Error. Is Error his name or is he an error? You know what I mean? Like you will never have those stories. Those don't exist anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that, and that's just so sad to think about. That it's like that's gone. Like that is 100% gone. And the only people who can still talk about it, and the only people who still remember it, are people like in our age bracket who were there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I
like,
mean, I don't know that gaming would be as sentimental and special to me if I started out right now.
Exactly. And
because
totally
I mean,
agree.
like, but it's hard to say, like, okay, a kid that's 3 now or, you know, anywhere between 3 and 10 now starting out with a PS4 or an Xbox One or a Switch or anything. I mean, they could feel the same way that you and I do about the NES. So, I mean, like, it's hard to put yourself in the shoes of a child again.
Yep.
So
absolutely, and I'm gonna get into that too.
So they, you know, in 30 years or 25 years or whatever, might have this same topic with someone else, you know, another friend, and they feel the same way that we do now.
Where they're
about
like,
everything.
oh my God, these kids on the PS8, like they're missing all the things we had on PS4, and like that history that came from the PS4, like where it's our present that is going to be one day someone's history.
Right, which is mind blowing to think about.
Yeah,
but
that's insane.
That's what makes it so special, man. Right. That's what makes it cool.
And the other thing, and this is something Colin Murray brought up a lot, is that what's so great, especially now and even then, is that, and then now moving into the now, is that gaming is one of those things where it's like that is held digitally, like that will always be there. Like there needs to be somebody cataloging every video game that is ever made.
Which is why DRM is not a good thing.
Right, absolutely. And it's like where one day like you will lose this. Like no, like a digital file that needs to be held and like put in a museum or something. Yeah. Because it's like think of all the books that we lost, like in the fire of the Alexandria Library, like forever ago. Like I mean, literally forever ago. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like think of all the books and all the knowledge that we lost in that fire, like because of what happened. And it's like there was no other way to preserve that information. Same with movies, old movies from like the 20s and 30s that were on film reel. Like those get sun damaged, those get lost, those get ripped, something like that. Video games was born at the perfect time to where it can be held digitally and you can catalog it, and that technology exists and is still there. Yeah. And it's like, so we need to be doing that so that future generations, so that one day the kid who is born around the PS8 or whatever the hell they call it. Yeah. You know what I mean? He can go onto his computer and he can play Mario Brothers on NES. Yeah. You know what I mean? That game is still there and it's still an option to him.
Because we're not going to stop moving away from the digital future. Like
exactly.
We're going to get to that digital age.
It is going to happen. As much as I personally don't want it to happen.
Probably before 2020. I mean, I
don't think before 2020. I think within the next 10 years, absolutely.
We're getting close.
By 2025, I say yes.
We're getting close.
I agree.
And I do want to take a side sec for a second because you mentioned fire. Yeah. I do want to mention, you know, like my heartfelt sympathy for London. Absolutely. To everyone affected by that apartment fire. I was up late last night, like just watching that, and I mean, like I said, my heart breaks for those
Twitter
people.
Was just
and by the time I left today, we filmed these on a Wednesday, and by the time I left, I mean the death count was only at 12. Yeah. But what I was reading is like no one from like the 3rd floor up. Yeah. Actually might have made it out.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, we could be looking at a death toll of like 400 some people.
Yeah, and they were saying something like they saw people, you know, jumping from the building.
Like I read something where like throwing 4-year-olds and 8-year-olds. Yeah, people like trying to catch them
at the bottom. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, like those images. Like I said, watching that last night, I got, you know, kind of emotional because I mean, like, you know, that, and I mean, everyone's talking about that, but like, it brings back images of like 9/11.
Right. Oh, and, absolutely.
You know,
right.
So I mean,
and of course, and God, just poor England, like. The random stabbing, the
on the London
Grande
Bridge.
Concert,
yeah, I mean they are.
You know, and I mean,
like I said, I don't want to mention anything like of why this fire happened because we don't know at this. Yeah, I mean, like it could have happened since we've been in here. We have terrible internet here, so we have no idea what's going on in the outside world at the moment. But you know, anything could have came out by now. Sure. But yeah, just you know, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys over there, and
absolutely,
definitely keep you, as a forefront for right now.
Right. Yep. Keep it in your mind.
Yeah.
As much fun as we have in here, there are real issues.
Yeah, there are actual issues in the world.
There are real things that are important.
I mean, I wanted to mention that during the recording of the SuperGen podcast because it's going up sooner than this episode will, but I just slipped my mind. But when you mentioned fire, I was like, yeah, I got to mention this real quick. At least something today.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, going back to a gaming, like I said, it's the most special thing to me. Well, I can't say that. I'm obviously like family, friends, my girlfriend.
I know what you mean. Like, yeah. Like as far as your interest,
yeah, like my hobbies,
most important hobby.
Yes,
sure,
like it is the absolute most special thing to me, and I cannot thank everyone enough for introducing me to that stuff, getting me in the industry, everyone that's helped me along the way. And I just hopefully you see more of me eventually,
right? Exactly.
Like our
name
stuff,
up in lights, right?
Like our stuff.
Do it. We would really appreciate it.
Yeah, but that's my story.
Sure.
We're going to cut here. Like
yeah,
we're gonna,
exactly. So this will be the end of episode 1. Look out for episode
1.
2. Right, part 1.
This one's going to go up on Sunday. Part 2, your story.
Yep.
Will go up on a week from today, Wednesday.
Yes, a week from today. Yes,
yeah, a week from the day that we record. So
right.
in 3 days.
3 days from the day you're viewing this.
So look out for that. Obviously, as we always say, leave a comment, leave a like, let us know future topics that you want to see.
Yeah.
Even though I think we just came up with like 3 or 4 during this conversation.
In this video. So wonderful. So yours may make it in there though if you have a better topic than what we have.
Yeah, I'm sure there's smarter people than we are.
Yes. So any thoughts, comments, concerns about what you've heard here so far?
Yeah.
Leave down in the comments below because the comments are probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
about
and I'm trying to be active. Like I'm trying to actually respond to people's comments.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm going in there on my personal YouTube account, like actually interacting with people. We're trying to build a community here.
Right.
Like we want
exactly. We want our own best friends. We want our own allies. We want our own.
Yeah. We just don't have a name. Called. We just don't have a name.
We do. What was it?
I don't know as a joke.
Oh, I came up with something, and damn it if I can't remember. I don't know.
Well, we'll find it. It's got to be on a video somewhere, right?
I don't think I mentioned it. I think it was on. It was like during a phone call or something. Ryan and I talked like 5 times a day. So
point being, we want to build a community. Like we want to take my passion for gaming, your passion for gaming, Ryan's passion for gaming.
Everyone's
like our what we do. We want to build a community of people that feel the same way we do, and let's just have some fun, man.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that, this is part 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought down below. Make sure to check out part 2 in a couple of days. Hey guys. Thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe because that would be awesome. And if you're interested, check out our other videos here, and subscribe over there. Really helps us out. I appreciate it. Catch you in the next one.